there, Zico and Kenny. Zico, like in Felix here, minus 150 odd shifting. So both you guys got on this pretty early.
Yeah, I know you just said that you can trust guys to just figure it out on clay, so you're kind of going against the whole thing here. But Shelton's only played 18 ATP level matches on clay. You know, the win that he had earlier in the year in April in Houston, that was on green clay in America, apparently very different than the European red clay. I can't say for myself, I haven't played on it. But I do think that there's just a learning curve that Shelton's going to go through with having not played that many clay court matches in his career. I think that he's a player that we can all agree, like, needs to come a long way in the point construction department. I think he needs just become a much smarter tennis player. I think he goes for broke pretty much, 100% of the match that he plays. So I think that Felix just has a slight edge on clay where, he just made a final in Madrid. Those were faster courts, but has had some success on the slow stuff. He won 2 clay court challengers in his career. He's made the final in another 3. He's just played a lot more clay court matches. And I think that they're somewhat similar players where both relying on the serve and the forehand, but I think that Auger Aliassime has a little bit more,
Enough comedy jokes. Hey, Darren, Bill, Pat, Hello Boy, Tim KC. It is 4 of 2, and I think Ham is going to call in, but I'm not positive. He's at a wedding, but I think he's going to call in soon. Let's look at some of the scores around the league. Finger is up 2 at 310. Let me just see what the volume is. Not much, I guess. 164,000. That doesn't seem like a lot, really. RCRT's in the green at 183.0863. Interesting. LPA is now down 90, but LPA was, well, let's see. I'll tell you how high it was today. 525. And it's weird. The volume doesn't seem very high. I mean, if this can possibly be correct, it's 80,000 is the volume. It opened at 284 and went to 525. That was a D-SPAC. I looked it up, and that was one where obviously they had an honest and competent sponsor. One would argue, is that successful if you were the company, Logistic Properties? Because you'd think, well, we should have gotten that money in our offering. But on the other hand, from our perspective, that was a successful D-SPAC, unlike Collective Audience. DJT is down 3, so it did have some strength this morning, but maybe my prediction's going to be a thwarted prediction. GameStop 22.5, it's in the red. MMAT, why are we watching that? I don't know, but it's up 35 cents at almost $4. That's pretty cool. NVIDIA, my tattooed lady. 1,081, down 23. Oh, Logic's up. It's green. Wow. 0.0002. It's up 1% at 0.017. It's been as high as 0.0179. And survey says I'm not going to quote that one. Let's just go back to Finger. Fingers up 2 at 310. I don't know if it's a Friday wedding. I just don't know. Maybe the wedding's tomorrow. Don't ask me. But that's where he is for a wedding. David's still driving my life away. What are they saying on do they still use CB radios or they use internet communication? I guess I'll have to do it this way. Perfect. All right, it's 2:00. We'll see if he calls in. I don't really have any items to go over. So maybe it's a good time to go to the second chapter. I mean, the first chapter, the second reading. I'll just read this till he comes on. This is chapter 1 of The New Case for Gold by Jim Rickards, Gold and the Federal Reserve. Unemployment, the precarious life of the worker, the disappointment of expectation, the sudden loss of savings, the excessive windfalls to individuals, the speculator, the profiteer, all proceed in large measure from the instability of the standard of value, the instability of money. This is 4 or 5 years old. Is the Fed broke? The colloquial Fed refers to the consolidated Federal Reserve System consisting of 12 separate regional Federal Reserve banks, each owned by private banks in its region. By broke, we mean insolvent, an excess of liabilities over assets, leaving a negative net worth. Definitions aside, the questions remain: is the Fed broke? I've had occasion to discuss that question with members of the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors, regional Federal Reserve Bank presidents, senior Fed staffers, and presidential candidates, among others. The answer I received were no, yes, maybe, and it doesn't matter. Each of these answers reveals a troubling aspect of the Federal Reserve. Let's look at those answers in turn and what the people providing them are actually saying. At a superficial level, the Fed is not insolvent. At a glance at the Fed's balance sheet 5 years ago shows total assets of approximately 4.4 trillion, total liabilities of approximately 4.45 trillion, and total capital, assets minus liabilities, of approximately 40 billion. Admittedly, the Fed is highly leveraged, a ratio of 114 to 1. I bet it's a lot worse now. Of course, leverage amplifies the impact of gain or loss on the capital account. It would only take a 1% loss on the Fed's assets to completely wipe out the Fed's capital. That's probably happened. But remember, the Fed also receives interest. The Fed's balance sheet is highly leveraged and hanging by a thread, yet the Fed is not technically insolvent. This brings us to the concept of mark to market. Mark to market. As the name implies, marking to market means taking each asset and repricing it to its current market price. Imagine all those bonds they bought at 0.5%, using the best available information. Hedge funds and broker-dealers do this every day, although the results are reported only periodically. Banks also use mark-to-market with part of their balance sheets. Some assets are mark-to-market, some are not, depending on whether the assets are held for trading or long-term investments. And the government gave the banks a huge break by allowing them to leave their long-term bonds on their books at par, because they just need to say, we're going to hold it to maturity. but a lot of banks, including the Fed, I think are probably well underwater, massively underwater. The Fed does not use mark-to-market accounting. The Fed does not use mark-to-market accounting. What if it did? Would that make it insolvent? The answer requires a deeper dive into the details of the Fed's balance sheet. This was written 5 years ago or more. Short-term instruments such as 90-day treasury bills hardly vary in price at all. They are not volatile enough to have a major impact on Fed solvency, even if marked to market. This is not true of 10-year notes and 30-year bonds. Both instruments are highly volatile. In fact, the volatility, what is technically called duration, they use all these terms, that's the maturity, increases at lower levels of interest rates. And that makes sense. When you have lower levels of interest rates, it's not intuitive at first, but when you have lower levels, smaller moves are higher percentages of whatever rate it is. Of course, rates have been near all-time lows for the past 6 years. Well, guess what? Since this book was written and published in of course, I can't find the date. It was 2016, 8 years ago. We've had low interest rates for 7 of the last 8 years. So these bond instruments are especially vulnerable to large swings in market value. The Fed's balance sheet lumps U.S. Treasury securities, notes, and bonds, nominal, into a single category and shows holdings of approximately 2.3 trillion as of this writing 8 years ago. The Fed then breaks those holdings down by regional reserve bank. Of the 2.3 trillion held by the system, 1.48 trillion are held on the books of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. That makes sense because the New York Fed runs open market operations for the entire system and is the principal buyer of Treasury debt under the various quantitative easing programs. In turn, the New York Fed provides a detailed list of all Treasury securities owned under its System Open Market Activities account. System Open Market account, SOMA. Using this detailed information on the securities, a daily price ticker, and some conventional bond math, it is possible to mark this portion of the Fed's balance sheet to market. This is 8 years ago. The New York Fed data shows the Fed was making massive purchases of highly volatile 10-year notes during the height of QE2 and QE3. For QE2, these purchases were made from November 2010 to June 2011. For QE3, the purchase period was September 2012 to October 2014. Using this data alone, the Fed was technically insolvent on a mark-to-market basis at certain times from June to December 2013. In that period, the 10-year note had a yield to maturity of about 3%. Most of the Fed's 10-year note purchasers were at yields of 1.5% to 2.5%. That backup in yields from the 1.5% level to 3% level, imagine now, produced massive mark-to-market losses on that portion of the Fed's portfolio, which was more than enough to wipe out the slender 60 billion capital cushion at the time. Imagine now. In late 2013, just as yields were starting to spike higher, I had dinner at a friend's home in Vail, Colorado. Joining us, all right, luckily you're saved by the bell. Hello? Hello?
William, I need.
Yeah, hey, you're live. You're live. You're live.
I know. I got it. I read your thing. I need 15 minutes. I just want to give you a quick story, then I'm going to come on. My wife's cousin was supposed to be here. He's the only family member I do like. He was supposed to be here. He's not here yet. I'm so pissed off. I'm going to Target to buy a volleyball, and I'm going to write his name. His name is David on the volleyball, like what's his name? Tom Hanks did with Wilson, the volleyball. And I'm going to walk around because I want to kill my wife for making me come to this event. So that's what I'm doing. When I get out, I have some stuff to talk about.
That seems all very rational.
Yeah. Anyway, I went to play pickleball in Alabama, and there's no Italians or Jews allowed on the court. I'm only kidding. They were booked today. So anyway, give me 15 minutes and I'll call you right back.
All right. All right.
I'll fire you up. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. So you got a temporary reprieve. So anyway, I had dinner. That's Jim Rickards. I had dinner at a friend's home in Vail, Colorado. Joining us at the dinner table was a recently resigned member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve who had been on the board during all of QE1 and QE2 and the start of QE3. I'm not one to tiptoe around sensitive subjects, so after some cordial conversation, I turned to the former governor and said, quote, "It looks like the Fed is insolvent," unquote. The governor seemed taken aback and said, no, we're not. I explained, well, not technically, but on a mark-to-market basis, it looks that way. Imagine what it looks like now. The governor said, no one has done that math. I replied, I've done it. And I think others have done so as well. I looked at the governor in the eye and saw a slight flinch. The reply came, well, maybe. Then a pause, and if we are, it doesn't matter. Central banks don't need capital. Many central banks around the world don't have capital. I said, I take your point, Governor. Central banks don't technically need any capital. Still, that might come as a surprise to the American people. There's good reason to believe Fed solvency could be an issue in the 2016 presidential campaign. Well, here we are 8 years later. At that point, I could see our dinner host was getting antsy, so the conversation moved on to more congenial topics like wine and skiing. My point was not to get bogged down in technical accounting methods and the theory of central banking. My point was that the entire edifice of the Federal Reserve and the dollar rests on a single point of failure. My point was that the entire edifice of the Federal Reserve and the dollar rests on a single point of failure: confidence. Confidence. It's a con game. As long as confidence is maintained, the money printing can go on. As soon as confidence is lost, no amount of money printing can save you. My concern is that the Federal Reserve is so dominated by MIT-trained quants and PhDs that the policymakers get lost in the models and lose sight of the temperament of the American people and the trust Americans place in them. In early 2015, I had a private dinner in Midtown Manhattan with another Federal Reserve official. This time it was not a governor, but an academic specialist handpicked by Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen to handle Fed policy communications. Gregory Mannarino calls her Janet Yellowstain. I don't know. That's not very nice. So this official was not a public relations professional or anyone the public is much aware of. He was the ultimate insider with an office across the hall from Bernanke and Yellen at Fed headquarters on Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C., which it looks to me is under reconstruction. Anyway, again, I raised the topic of Fed insolvency on a mark-to-market basis. At that time, 10-year note yields had fallen back below 2%, and a lot of the 10-year notes purchased in the 2010-2013 period had lower volatility because they only had 5 to 7 years remaining to maturity. A 10-year note with 5 years to maturity trades like a 5-year note in terms of duration and volatility. I mean, obviously. It seemed likely that the Fed had recouped its mark-to-market losses and was probably solvent at the time of this discussion. Still, I wanted to pursue the topic because rates could rise again. And imagine, they're 5% now and higher, causing new market losses. I was interested in the subject of confidence. Now the reaction was less equivocal than what I had encountered in Vail. In fact, my friend was categorical. Quote, "We're not insolvent and never have been. It's all on the balance sheet. Have a look," unquote. In making this statement, he referred specifically to the period of higher interest rates in mid-2013. That did not faze him. We've never been insolvent. Case closed. Having done the mark-to-market arithmetic on the bond portfolio, I was intrigued. What was I missing? Did the Fed have some hidden asset which offset the bond losses? It was clear that my friend was leading me in that direction, yet did not want to say so explicitly. I went back to the Fed balance sheet and found what I was looking for right away. In fact, it was the first line on the balance sheet. It was called the gold certificate account, the gold certificate account. As of this writing, 8 years ago, that account was listed on the balance sheet at $11 billion. That line entry was at historic cost, the Fed's usual accounting convention. What if the gold certificate account were marked to market just like the bonds? Understanding the gold certificate account involves a trip back in time to 1913 with a stop in 1934. When the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, its private owners, the banks in each district, were required to transfer their gold to one of the regional reserve banks. This was the first step in transferring physical gold into fewer and fewer hands, a topic we'll discuss later in the book. In 1934, the US government effectively seized all gold from the Federal Reserve and moved it to the hands of the US Treasury. Fort Knox was built in 1937, partly to hold the Fed bank gold and partly to hold other gold confiscated from the American people in 1933. Pursuant to the Gold Recovery Act of 1934, it's weird how the 1933 and 1934, those are the Federal Securities Acts, same time, same president, FDR. Gold certificates were issued by the United States Treasury to the Federal Reserve System, both to plug a hole in the balance sheet and to overcome constitutional objections based on the Fifth Amendment provision, quote, "Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation," unquote. The Treasury took the Fed's gold, yet gave, quote, "just compensation," unquote, in the form of gold certificates. Those gold certificates were last marked to market in 1971 at a price of $42.22 per ounce. Using that price and the information on the Fed's balance sheet, this translates into approximately 261.4 million ounces of gold, or just over 8,000 tons. Now, he believes the gold is at Fort Knox. I'm a little more skeptical, but we're never going to let anybody look in Fort Knox. We're not going to invite China or Putin to look, so it probably doesn't matter. At a price of 1,200 per ounce, that's what it was 8 years ago. Today, gold is double this price. At a market price of 1,200 per ounce, that gold would be worth approximately $315 billion. Because the gold is held on the Fed's balance sheet at only about $11 billion, this mark-to-market gain leaves the Fed a hidden asset of more than $300 billion. Adding $300 billion, this is 8 years ago, adding $300 billion to the Fed's capital account reduces Fed leverage from 114 to 1 to a much more respectable 13 to 1, the capital ratio for most well-capitalized banks. In other words, they have $1 in reserve for every $13 they have out on loan or in your accounts. Guess who's doing that, in my judgment? The security system is doing that with your shares of stock, the same damn darn thing. This hidden asset is more than enough to absorb the mark-to-market losses on the bond portfolio when they arise. It's also interesting to note that the amount of gold held by the Treasury, about 8,000 tons, is roughly equivalent to the amount of gold claimed by the Fed on its balance sheet, also about 8,000 tons. The U.S. gold supply dropped from about 20,000 tons in 1950 to about 8,000 tons in 1980, which is basically the beginning of this magical 40 years, which is over now. The economy of your grandfather is over with. The Goldilocks economy is finished. So the drop of 12,000 tons came in two phases. About 11,000 tons were lost to dollar redemptions by foreign trading partners from 1950 to 1971. The other 1,000 tons were dumped on the market for price suppression from 1971 to 1980. Suddenly, the price suppression scheme using United States physical gold was abandoned, and the United States has engaged in almost no official sales since 1980. What about hypothecation and rehypothecation? But anyway, that's a topic for a different author, a different guy. Is this because the Treasury is afraid to hold less gold than it theoretically owes to the Fed? Is 8,000 tons a floor on the U.S. gold hoard because that's how much the Fed claims on its balance sheet? If so, that relationship is highly significant because it means the United States cannot dump any more physical gold on the market. It can only encourage others, such as the United Kingdom, to dump their gold or play the paper gold game through leasing operations. The Treasury is out of the game as a source of supply. So that's his rationale why the 8,000 tons remains. Technically, the gold certificates do not give the Fed the right to demand physical gold from the Treasury. They do carry an implied moral obligation that in the event of a collapse of confidence in the Fed's printed money, the Treasury will use its gold to support the Federal Reserve. Another name for the implied obligation to support the Fed with gold is a gold standard. My friend, the insider, was correct. The Fed was briefly insolvent in 2013 on a mark-to-market basis if one were to look at its securities portfolio only. Yet it was never insolvent when taking into account the Fed's hidden gold assets. Maybe that's why they've let gold double in value over the last 8 years. The confidence of the entire global financial system rests on the US dollar. Confidence in the dollar rests on the solvency of the Fed's balance sheet. And that solvency rests on the thin sliver of gold. This is not a condition anyone at the Fed wants to acknowledge or discuss publicly. Even a passing reference to the importance of gold to the Fed's solvency could start a debate on gold to money ratios and related topics, which the Fed left behind in the 70s. Nevertheless, gold still matters to the international banking system. This is why central banks and governments keep gold in their vaults, despite their public disparagement of gold's role. All right, that's chapter 1. We'll leave it there. Chapter 2 is gold is money. But we'll read that another time. 227. Counterfeit shares everywhere. Securities sold, not yet purchased. RICO. But maybe they have some gold purchase certificates on their balance sheet. Hey, that fro girl. Hey, Donna. Hey, Donna. Hey, Frank. Hey, Eddie Eagle. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Franken, Stagio, Red Pepper. Ronnie, hey, Amby, Pilot, Spiny. Has the Civil War started yet? I'm not sure it'll be a war. I just think it'll be a rollover to your side of the bed. Hey, McLovin. Hey, Patrice. Scott. No, I still have my CB, but I'm not saying good buddy. Tim Casey. David Z. Low Boy. Pat. Bill. Darren. Close. Crazy action this AM. Huge runs and dumps. Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Frank. Maybe there's something to Ham's theory that it's all coming to an end. I don't know. What's up? Never had a vote for convicted felon on life's bucket list. Well, you might have voted for a non-convicted felon. You can go to Hillary's website and buy her merchandise that says she was right. She was right. What a swell person. What a swell person. Let's see. Oh, Alcaraz is playing Corda. Sinner has such an easy draw. Djokovic tomorrow plays a guy that can beat him, unfortunately. And then Sinner will almost certainly be number one in the world.
Who would still want to play Mateo? All of them. Probably all of them.
Roof is closed. Roof is closed. All right, here we go.
Call from
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach. Voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later.
call from Andy.
All right.
All right, I got the ball, the hat. I'll send you a picture of it when I stop driving. I just wanted to let everybody know that I retained an attorney and I'm filling out a legal document that I'm verified to be a witness at a hearing in DC. They're sending down, and I had to get an attorney to do it. So
You're going to wear the ball over your head?
what?
You're going to wear the ball over your head so they don't see you?
I'm gonna wear like a hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm gonna walk in just like him. But just let you know that I had hired an attorney, and I'll have the documents, and we'll get it down there. And this way, no more fooling around with this nonsense. You know, let's get behind the Trump wave. It's going to be a big one. He's going to smash the shit out of the shorts, and we want to be part of it. You know, his way. He can't stop what goes on in the courtrooms. He can't stop this, but he can get educated about this inside and out and kill the short sellers. And that's the bandwagon I want to be on. You know.
Yep.
But anyway, I have no idea where the stock is. Where is it, William? I have no idea.
Well, finger is 312. It's 310 by 313, 11 by 6. The volume is 170,000.
All right, so we're hanging in there. You know, again, the only way this stock can go is, you know, obviously, is no downside. The company has the fundamentals to support whatever we have going on here. So, you know, we're all okay with that. So I'm okay with it. If you're not, like the gentleman yesterday who was bitching and moaning that it's taking too long, you know, that's his problem. I could kill us. Anyway, what else? That's it.
Well, it's 2:33. You've got some time to fill here. You better have more
Yeah,
to say.
no, I'm okay. I'm just driving. I'm learning to drive around Alabama. I'm here. I went to
They drive on the left side of the road in Alabama.
Anyway, I went to a place to play pickleball this morning called the Met. I'm in Hoover, Alabama. It's beautiful. And I have to tell you, I knew nothing about Alabama. And the area, everything is spotless. I mean, it's really, you know, I don't know much about it, but it's, to me, it looks very nice, you know. And I think I really enjoy it. I mean, it's spotless. The people, everyone's polite, and you know, I'm good with it.
It's a red state. How can people be polite? I thought they're all deplorable.
Everybody's polite. People got in the elevator with me and asked that if they can join me in the elevator ride down. I'm like, you know, New York, they just pile in and couldn't care less. The people are so polite and very different, and I enjoy it. So that's, you know, people keep texting me about finger motion. Is something going on? I don't know.
It's 311. It's up 3 cents. I guess they're just amazed it's in the green all day. It was as high as 325, 171,000, 310 by 313, 11 by 4.
All right. Can I call you right back? Because these people that are texting me are pretty powerful people, and
Sure.
they're asking me what's
Sure.
going on. And I'm driving, so I have no idea.
Sure.
All right.
I like it, Travis.
Welcome,
Bought 2 shares. Ham called me this morning and he said he's telling everybody to buy 1 share. So you think like I'm not a big, I don't think Tucker Carlson has he likes to think he's courageous to ask the tough questions, but it's not that tough to be courageous when everyone else is just going along with Hillary. But I don't find Tucker Carlson all that bright, and I don't think his knowledge level is not deep. So anyway, that's just me. I'd rather have Byron Donalds than Tucker Carlson all day long. Byron Donalds would, to me, Trump is never going to get women to shift to him, because he said in a locker room tape, he said they let you grab them by the but Trump could dig into African American males for sure. Let's see. I don't think I answered. There he is. All right.
I can't see it, but someone texted me. There's a rumor going around about finger motion and $100 million revenue deal coming out of J.P. Morgan. Maybe you can see it. It's on Twitter. I'm driving.
How would you? Let me go to Twitter. How would you find on Twitter? All right, I'll go to Twitter.
Maybe under finger. I don't know.
I'll
people
go.
Are telling me I can't. I'm sorry.
I'll go to bloody well Twitter, mate. I'll go to it, mate. FNGR. Search.
We've all heard about a big deal coming.
Finger waiting on the big move to upside. The hammer is coming. 4Q Lind. That comes from a guy named Dan.
That was me. That was me hours ago.
Rumor coming out from Wildcat X. Finger, rumor coming out of JP Morgan. $100 million deal with a telecom. And they are sending it to you. You're quoted in it. I mean, you're tagged in it.
I got text messages, but I can't read it. I'm on a bend, so I can't see it. And that's why I hung up on you, because I got it 4 times. And I'm like, what is it? I can't
Schlitz Ryan. I have a gut feeling Finger is going to be crazy next week.
All right. So again, listen, we've been hearing a major deal coming, and I didn't know if it was a telecom, whatever it may be, but listen, people, it's not just 2 people hear it, 2 tell 2 or 1, before you know it starts to spread. So again, let's hope it's true, and I think we'll be fine. All right, we've been saying it all along. We're in the right company, so that's how I felt. So, that's a good sign then. All right. Again, like I said, people were texting me and I can't see it because I'm driving. I'm on the wrong side of the fucking road. Excuse my French. I'm supposed to make a left. See that, William? Maybe you missed the goddamn turn. In Alabama, when you miss the turn, it takes me 2 miles to turn around again. It's not like driving on 14th Street or 34th Street, Manhattan, and just make a turn and go around in a circle. A little different. Anyway, so that's all good news. And listen, I'm not concerned. The only reason the stock doesn't go up is manipulation. And there's nothing more I can say about it. So when the manipulation stops, it will explode. You can see, just look at what happened with DJT. All they did was, after the blue sheet investigation, and the stock went from 20 something to 58. All right. And now it's in play every day. All right. So that's how fast it turns. All right. And we know that he's working with people in DC. All right. I already sent the information down that I will to testify. I'm sending it to our guys that are speaking to Nunes and Trump's people. So again, they're well versed on it. We just got to get our skinny asses in the door with them and be part of it. That's what we're trying to do. Is that okay, William?
Yeah, Mark Bazile put out yesterday that the SEC judgment against toxic dilution funder and unregistered dealer Justin Keener was affirmed by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, which means every single circuit court has reviewed the violations under dealer registration,
I mean, they're all dead. It's
have upheld this
Just
viewpoint.
keep an eye on it. Lynn Partners is going to be on the tape soon. They're going to get busted too. I don't know anyone who has the CEO of KNW, but he should be reaching out to Mark Bazile to go after them. You know, maybe they can keep the money and screw Lynn, you know, get them guys. But Lynn's going down. Once that happens, I'm told the DOJ is going to go after all these guys. You know, they know what they've been doing is criminal activity. So it's just a matter of when it's going to happen.
Exciting.
No, listen, I'm thrilled about where we stand. The company has made it through the hump. All right, that's how I look at it. The hump being that the company has the fundamental news to withstand any attack now. It's very difficult to get to that point. If you look at DJT, I get people texting me, telling me the company's a piece of shit, and I tell them I don't care. I could care less. My thing is about naked short selling. Whatever they're doing, they do. That's not my business. I'm here for naked short selling. If you can't deal with that, I don't know what to tell you.
One gentleman bought 2 shares of DJT this morning. I told him what your thoughts were, that everybody should buy a share.
Absolutely. Why not? If you want to support it, listen, this is a Democrat, Republican. This is government screwing with everybody. All right. They're taking over the courts and they're trying, but Donald Trump has a way to get back at him. He doesn't need to go to a court to make any of this happen. He has this public company and he can do whatever he has to do. And by squeezing them, he'll torture the whole establishment here. They'll have to have a bigger problem with him doing that than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what I look at. So it's just a matter of when. He has the opportunity right now to destroy short sellers. And that if he destroys short sellers, for those who can't stand him, you know what? I really don't care. But guess what he's going to do? He's going to save all our asses. And to me, that's more important than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Am I correct?
Sounds good to me.
Right. There's an opportunity to kill them all. All right? That's short sellers. I'm not here to fight Democrat, Republican. I could give a rat's ass. I don't care what side you're on. Make your vote heard, whatever you want to do.
Call from Peter Milhago.
Making short sellers. And I think I want to be on that. I want to be on that hit parade.
16 shares. Paulie bought 16 shares of DJT.
I pitched about 12 people. They all bought 200, 300 shares. Everyone's buying it. I said, hey, take a shot. What are you doing? Just buy 2 shares.
Have you had a grit while you're down there? Have you had a grit?
No, I have not. I'm sorry.
What's a grit? You don't remember that movie when Joe Pesci and Marisa Tomei go into a diner and it's eggs and grits?
It looks like.
He said, "What's a grit?"
Yeah, I actually saw it the other day where he had no suit. He bought the tuxedo, and he told him, I bought this ridiculous suit for you. So it's actually pretty funny.
What's that word? Ute.
Utes.
The
right?
2 Utes.
Right. Anyway, what else do you have for me, William?
Well, not much. It's a pretty calm day considering. Fingers still up 5 cents. DJT is down, but it's flirting with $50.
I looked at the options before. The 50s for today were like 23 cents. Those are the type of things I would love to play. If I was active, that's what those are the things you look at, because if it breaks through 50, you kill them.
Right. So you call those junk calls. You just buy them for the day.
You just buy them. You 20 cents. You close your eyes. You buy 100 of them for $2,000. If you're up and you're in the game, you buy 100 of them, and if they work out, you kill them. Yeah, 49.60. I just got back up. I'm live again. Let's see what those calls are. Listen, I'm just trying to teach you to look at it. This is the way you can play. You know, sometimes, you know, an option expiration, the 50s are now 25 to 35. They were offered at 23 before. You know, think about it. You buy 100 of them at 23, you sell 50 of them at 35. You throw on the offer, right? You make yourself 13 cents, and you got 50 that cost you a dime, really, to play. So you got to trade down to 500. If the thing breaks 50 and squeezes, you kill them.
Let's see what this is. Munich Re has reported an increase in insurance revenue to 16 billion US for the first quarter 2024. Wow.
How much did they make? 200 and what?
That's 16 billion that Munich Re has done in revenue for the first quarter of
So
2024.
the only thing they look to do with these companies is to expand. That's their business. And now they're expanding into China. Think how much we could make or Finger Motion can make off of this.
Did you see the Finger 10K? Munich Re is mentioned. They are a leading global reinsurer providing products that range from reinsurance.
Yes, we all know that they're here. And Lynn Partners is so stupid, they shorted it into that. Think how stupid they are. They can't get out now. Now what do? They have no way to convert into the company stock. They're trapped. KNW is on the death march because they can convert. Very different situation. SYTA was one of Lynn's deal. They killed it, reversed it, and they could reverse it again, and they killed the year high on this thing. The 52-week high was $82. Can you imagine what reverses they did here? Killed this company. It's $1.61.
Right.
Where do you think it's going? It's going to get wiped out. Everything they do, they get wiped out on.
So let's see what's trading. Yeah, fingers up sticks now.
I'm looking for that. Where is that tweet? What is it under? What was the name of it?
The name of the guy is, I'll give it to you.
Oh, I just see it. Oh, there it is.
He misspelled everything because he's like you.
Hey, I'm not that stupid.
He typed, it's not stupid. It's just typing quickly.
It's JPM. And I love it. I wrote it's JPM. It's called the room, and I love it. And I'll put in there for you, Lynn. All right, I cleaned it up for whoever that guy is, Wildcat. All right, it's JP Morgan, and it's called Aruma, and I love it. Fuck you, Lynn, you fat fuck. Excuse my French. I'm sorry, I'm nasty to him.
Don't bring your New York habits down to Alabama.
I'm not sitting there.
Down there, they say, bless his heart. Bless your heart, Jeff Lind.
Hey, listen.
It means the same thing.
Let's just go over what this little story says. You know, they didn't say a deal. They announced he's saying a number, $100 million, right?
Yeah. With a telecom.
If this company were to get $100 million deal, the company had 35 million in revenue for the year. It's going to go from 35 to 135 in one swoop. I don't know about you, but if that is 50% correct, they actually built it's higher than the whole revenue they had last year.
But there's no path to profitability.
No path to profit. Someone just posted DJT short sales to borrow shares available, 0. Who the hell's playing the game here? You can't even borrow any. I don't even know how they fabricate more shares into the system. It's just amazing that they can do that. You know, there's no shares to borrow, yet they create it. Hey, listen, I'm not here to talk about DJT. If you want to help out and you want to do what's right for the country, you buy one share. If Trump kills the shorts, we all win. Democrats, Republicans, you can hate you can hate the effing guy. I don't want to curse. I could care less. We want to settle the trades, because if they don't settle the trades, everyone on this phone has a political problem and we have a financial problem. And that's going to hurt your family, your kids, and your grandkids. And I don't have time to play this game anymore. So if you want to help out, you buy one share. It's $40, whatever it is, $50, and you know, we sell it. You need the money back. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about this finger motion thing for a second. All right, well, let me send you the picture of the. I hold on a second. Maybe you could. Well, let me just set the hat on the ball. So you can see me. Give me a second, because I just want you to. I don't want people to think
I thought Wall Street was about high finance. I didn't know it was about high jinks.
Hold on a second. Let me get the photo of it for you. William, you could post this, I hope, right?
Yeah, it just takes, yes, I can. It takes probably about 2 minutes. 1 minute, maybe.
That's the only ball I can find, but I'm going to write his name on it and walk around with it. Obviously, they're Alabama people, so I bought a Alabama hat and put it on the ball, and I'm going to walk around with it and call it David. That's his name.
Why, he's not going to his own wedding?
No, it's not his wedding. He's an attorney, and he's in Atlanta. He's driving back, but he was supposed to be sitting here entertaining me, so I didn't have to do this. But I have no entertainment, so you're it.
What? When's the wedding?
Tonight. I thought it was tomorrow.
Is it a Jewish wedding?
I
don't know. When are weddings on Friday nights? I thought they were on.
That's for the poor people. Poor people have them on Friday nights.
I don't know. I've never been married. I don't know.
When you get married, you'll get married on a Tuesday at City Hall. We can book that anytime you like. You're going to get married. It's going to be like going to the car wash. We both say we do, and that's it. It doesn't make a difference. Anyway, I'm here to talk about naked shorts. I'm doing everything possible to expose it. I'm not giving up. Again, I should give up, but I'm not giving up. We can't do anything. We can only enlighten the people that are in the power to make this happen. The SEC is basically showing you their cards that they're in trouble. All right, they're trying to clean it up. It's a disgrace that they don't do it quickly and give the criminals a chance. It's like someone's calling the crooks in the bank and saying the police are coming and we're giving you a 10-minute head start. That's what it's like. Hey, the police are coming. We'll give you a 10-minute head start. You better start running. That's what's going on here. And I can't believe that the government is allowing this to happen. Ken Griffin, who's got $45 billion in his pocket, savvy management, the low end of the scale, or the Kramers, they have mansions and houses. They're moving into their parents' names, the Kramers. All right. The one gentleman who's a real estate guy in Long Island checked out the listing. The Kramers hid their house under their father's name, wherever the hell it is. I have no idea. Savvy put a house in Fisher Island down in Florida. Ken Griffin's got houses in Palm Beach, Miami, multi-million-dollar homes. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And we have to sit here and give them a chance to clean up their act. It's impossible. It's unbelievable. And the bashes come out. They're all getting paid. Who wants to stop? Who's against this stuff? You know, who wants to get their pension plans robbed? Who's cheering for that? I get it. You're trying to rob our money. I got it. We're just a bunch of shitheads. But you're stealing people's pension money. They couldn't care less. They kill companies. They kill companies William, I'm trying to get you, and I apologize. The chairman of a medical company wants to come on your show,
Yeah,
and
it's a great company, but it's like,
yeah, so let's get him on first before you start divulging what it is. I promised the guy I'd call him today, and I forgot to call. He called me this morning, and I'll do it this afternoon before I disappear. I'll make sure I get you on the call with him. This way you can iron it out and do a great interview with him and help his shareholders out. Guy working on a cancer treatment, and this is what they have to do. They have to work. Not only have to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They have to go further. They have to do more because the criminals control the game. What else, William? Anything?
Well,
What's the audience?
you don't know much about it, but this LPA was a SPAC. They de-SPAC'd. It went up. It collapsed, I guess, because that's what the shorts do. They destroyed the SPACs. But then it rallied through, I don't know, $10, and it went as high as 500 and something today. It's down now.
This looks just like ZJYL and HKD, right?
Yeah. Right. It went, and it was low volume. It was like 80,000 shares, and it ran
80,000
hundreds.
shares at 80,000 shares at 500. A lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Was that 400? Was that $400 million or $40 million?
Yeah.
Somebody who owns, if he owns 5,000, at five, whatever the hell week low was, let's say $10, and you sold it at 500. I think you're pretty happy today.
All right. Your stupid picture is up in a second. It's uploading right now.
I just want to make sure you know that I'm a man of my word.
It's up.
If I'm crazy enough to,
Crimson Tide.
If I'm crazy enough to do that.
They call me Crimson Tide. They've got a name for the winners of the world. So that's going to be your date to the wedding?
Yes.
Dave.
After my wife throws me out, yes, that's going to be it.
Well, at least he'll be attentive to every word you
We talked about
say.
yesterday. I was surprised that GDC didn't close back at $1 yesterday, but they're moving it back to $1 today. So if you wanted to just steal pennies every day, as we call it, trading for pennies, you could have bought 1,000 shares and made yourself you made 5 cents on it, $50, right?
Yeah.
$50 a day. When you see it go down to the low, 84, you pay 85. Throw it out there at 95. Maybe on the close, sell it at $1. Went to 9.98, and that's what you call trading and trying to keep lower your costs in anything you're doing. You don't have to be a 100% believer in it. You can flip it. That's what people do all day long. Of course, when it goes, you miss the big rally, but that's what happens.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Antonio says, happy wife, happy life. I chose a happy life. Yeah, I don't know. It's a luck of the draw if you find a happy wife. Evergrande was fined $576 million for fraud. That doesn't sound like very much money. Big Orange is going to see Alabama versus Wisconsin in September, Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's a first for them, right? They've never been to Wisconsin. I never remembered that.
Base salary in Congress, $174,000. That's before they get paid off.
I'm still looking for the photo. I don't see it. Where'd you put it?
Oh, you wanted me to put it on Twitter. I showed it to the audience. I can put it on Twitter.
Oh, okay. As long as they saw it, I wanted to.
They saw it. They saw it.
Okay, all right.
I didn't put it on Twitter. You can put it on.
No.
Twitter.
I thought that's why I thought you put it. I don't know.
I put it up. You can talk about it. I can put it up again. You can talk about it.
No.
It's up right now. Your date to the wedding.
I ran the targets to do that, people. So you know how crazy I am. I don't stop. Whatever. When I get on a mission, I don't stop until I get it done.
That hat
That's
does,
it.
that hat doesn't cover your missing hair, does it?
Listen, I didn't want to spend $800. I bought the cheapest ball and the cheapest hat I could buy. That's what I did. I need to send them. I sent a message, and I did. So that's it. Thank God my wife doesn't listen to these calls. I'll be living in the street. So
Well, that's a happy marriage. Your wife doesn't listen to you.
I told you yesterday when I got out of the plane, we were running, and you wanted me to have the call in the car. My family all looked at me and gave me a thumbs down. They said, if you do it, they're all getting out.
So you sped up.
I've been doing this for so long.
Do you
That's
think
my-
$4 calls on finger are good for this month?
I can't listen. I can tell you this. Let me look. I don't even know what the hell they're trading at. I have no idea.
A kiss is just a kiss.
See, now I look at it different. I look at it different than you do. The $4 calls mean nothing. If what you just reading, $100 million revenue deal's coming, do you think the $4 calls are worth it? Or you buy the $6 calls at a dime or 15 cents? You know, that's what I look at. Because if it's going way past those numbers. And if it doesn't work, why not just lose a dime or 15 cents versus 35 cents, right?
Right.
I'm not here to what. If I'm going to trade it, I'm going to buy the stock. But if I want to change my life, I have to buy the $6 calls, things like that. And to me, buying 500 of them is what I like to do. 500 is 50,000 shares. 50,000 shares. When the stock goes from 3 to 50, it changes your life forever. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to make $10,000.
I noticed when you get to.
And if you just go and look at the guy who did GameStop, they posted it. He put up a few bucks. He made what, 44 million buying out of the money options? That was posted on Twitter. $44 million. That's the money. That's the money game. And he did it with cheap options. And there's enough coverage here that if anyone bought it, with all this stuff going around, rumors going around, I think I said that a long time ago, William. If you have inside information, make sure you get someone to post it on Twitter and then buy your options afterwards. Because if it's out there, you can never get in trouble because all you have to do is blame the post that you read. So imagine if I had inside information, I could see now that whatever that guy's name is posted it, I can go out there and buy the calls. And they say, you had direct information about this. Like I say, no, I just read it on Twitter. You can't get in trouble for insider trading. Do you understand?
Yeah. Is there?
So maybe that post is there for a reason because somebody else wants to buy it. I don't know.
Is there already a consolidated audit trail, and who sees it now? The SEC?
Well, we don't see it. Listen, the SEC knows what's going on. They're just jerking us all off. JP Morgan was fined, what was it today? $100 million for 8 years of spoofing. 8 years. What stocks did they spoof, right? How much money did they make from spoofing? Think of all the things that they've done. And no one does anything about it.
Is that in the New York Southern District Court, along with what's that guy that just went after Alvin Bragg? Is that under his jurisdiction?
I don't think it's under his. I don't know if it's under. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. You can ask that to Mark Bazile, or maybe you can ask Richard. It's not legal advice. Those questions.
Richard doesn't come on anymore. I think he thinks the jokes aren't worth the
He came on the other day.
blowback. I think he thinks that the risk
Listen,
of making a joke isn't worth it.
Listen,
Anymore.
his jokes are awful. They're awful. But he's a brilliant mind. He's a great attorney, and I wish we could sue somebody. I wish I had the money to.
I think
take
he
on
gets
one
a kick out of how bad his jokes are.
You know what? That could be it. He tries to look for the worst jokes possible. That's a good.
He just
point.
doesn't have a Johnny Carson recovery.
Right. Well, listen, I don't want to spend all day on
This is a huge day for Figure. It's been green from the jump.
Well, let's take this. Now that you brought it to my attention, William.
And they tried to short it yesterday from the earnings. I think that's a pretty good sign it's going up.
Listen, I know one guy bought 35,000 yesterday. A good buyer. He bought 35,000, and he was laughing because I can't believe these idiots are trying to knock it down. And I didn't tell him to buy it. He called and told me he bought it. I had no idea. But again, whoever's in here has a huge problem. Forget the naked short. The real short's got 2 million shares to cover. He can't get out of this mess. He's got 2 million shares to cover. And I always told you, William, this. The short is standing here. When the selling stops and disappears, you all watch Root go from 7 to 100. And I pointed it out every day. There was no more short selling, and it just took off because the shorts were covering, and they covered up to 100. It was right there, and we reported every day. When the selling stops, that's when it goes. For those people that are sitting here waiting for a sign from the gods to buy it, I don't believe in that. I believe when there's a seller, you buy it. Don't wait. Because when the seller disappears, it's impossible to buy. Just remember that. Don't look at the stocks that take off. They're impossible to buy. When this clown gets out of the way, it's going to be impossible to buy. And if the $100 million revenue deal is right, and next week that other gentleman said he thinks it's going to go, I'm under the same opinion there's something big coming. I don't know what it is. I only pray it's that one. If that's it, look out. And I can guarantee you that doing business in China, those are the numbers they throw out there. You can have the shittiest deal ever, but that'll make you $100 million because there's so many goddamn people there. I don't know what the deal could be, but if it's a telecom deal, maybe it's a data deal. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. Maybe the Chinese government, the telecom, it wants to buy back data from the company because the data is all cleansed and basically tells the story. Maybe they need it, or maybe it's another insurance guy. I don't know. I have no idea what it could be. But we know that the company, all they do is have an app, and the app does what? You can charge up your car using their app, and Finger Motion gets paid from it. They don't have to pay for the charging stations. They don't have to pay for the car. They don't have to pay for the electricity. They charge you $15. They get one, whatever the number may be. That's a nice business to be in.
Oh, Gary Gensler has an update. The historic conversion from T+2 to T+1 has gone smoothly. A shorter settlement cycle lowers risks and gets investors their cash or securities faster. Really? Really? We got our securities more quickly? We remain in close contact with clearinghouses and other market participants as we continue to monitor the transition ahead of increases in trading volumes expected this afternoon. Goober Gary Gensler, SEC chair.
How does it keep saying that?
Really? When did we get our stock?
It's unbelievable. I can't believe they continue to speak. You know, it's unbelievable. Anything else? What do we got? Listen, remember, Trump's avenue to money without building a building, doing anything, is just forced settlement and DJT. And he'll have more money than he'll be so rich. Just look at GameStop. They raised $2 billion from a company that had no business, right?
Mm-hmm.
$2 billion. They just sold 45 million shares and no one knows who bought it yet. That's still another mystery. I don't understand how long it takes to file a form that you bought the ownership of the stock. But the retail investors keep trying to squeeze it and keep trying to do it. God bless them. Good luck. Right? They're trying to use options to squeeze it, which is okay. Listen, I'm not jealous. Good luck. We'll get our time. Our time's coming. If you think about it, William, Finger Motion's been under attack since October 10th. I've been reporting that. October 10th of last year. Straight down every day from October 10th. A nickel, a dime, a penny, up a penny, down 2 pennies, up a penny, down 3 pennies. And it's always the trend is down. The company's business is getting stronger and their stock price gets marked down every day. What kind of stock market is this? We all can see it. You can see it today. It was just 14 to 15. They just keep trying to sell 100 shares, trying to mark it down. It's funny, all the 100 shares ticks are always down, William, to try to move it lower, right? You never see the ticks going on the upside, right?
Right.
Hurry up, hit that bid. There's a 3-cent spread. The next trade will be 311, so it shows that it's unchanged. That's all they keep trying to do. And these guys are not borrowing shares, they're illegally just selling it. Illegally is just selling it.
I wonder who is selling DJT. It's nobody out there. It's just fake.
There's no shares to borrow. There's no shares to borrow, and they keep selling it. Where are they getting them from?
T+2 to T+1. That's going to fix it.
Right.
That'll
And that's what you have. Anyways, 312, everyone. It's a good weekend. Go home, relax. We got good news coming on the horizon. It's right there. Let's hope it comes out next week, and we'll see what happens. Let them. They're the ones that are going to the poorhouse and to jail. All right. We have a company that's growing, and let's hope all this information is true, and we'll see them in the promised land.
All right. Well, have fun with your ball.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye.
Call ended.
Have a ball with your ball. Have a ball with your ball. This second chapter is too long. I don't feel like doing it. So anyway, unless there's a big topic, I think I'm going to sign off early because I kind of feel like I've given it my all this week and I'm worn out. Finger is still in the green. I'm intrigued by this RCRT because it is in the green, but it's such low volume. I don't know. I don't know what it means. And somebody said MMAT's over 4. Wow. Wow. How much does 500 calls at 10 cents? Well, 500 times 10 cents is, yeah, I mean, it's 10 cents a share is basically what you're paying. So it's 500 times 100 times It's $5,000. $5,000. Here, I know what we can go out on if I can find it.
Y'all want something?
Yeah.
Breakfast?
You think? Good choice. Ooh.
And then you have breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Excuse me. You guys down here hear about the ongoing cholesterol problem in the country? What's this over here?
You never heard of grits?
Sure. I heard of grits. I just actually never seen a grit before. Yeah, now you can try it.
You first.
What is a grit anyways?
It's made out of corn. Them hominy grits.
How many? How do you cook it?
Well, you simmer it in water for 15 to 20 minutes. Put it on the plate and add butter.
So, you gonna eat it or not?
What's the matter with you?
I don't know.
You're acting like you're nervous or something.
Well, yeah, I am.
What are you nervous about? I'm the one that's under the gun here. Trial starts tomorrow.
You want to know what I'm nervous about? I'll tell you what I'm nervous about. I am in the dark here with all this legal crap. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is you're screwing up, and I can't help.
You lent me a little camera, didn't you?
Oh, Vinny, I'm watching you go down in flames, and you're bringing me with you, and I can't do anything about it.
And?
Well, I hate to bring it up because I know you got enough pressure on you already, but we agreed to get married as soon as you won your first case. Meanwhile, 10 years later, my niece, the daughter of my sister, is getting married. My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married.
Lisa, I don't need this. I swear to God, I do not need this right now, okay? I got a judge that's just aching to throw me in jail. An idiot who wants to fight me for $200. Slaughtered pigs. Giant loud whistles. I ain't slept in 5 days. I got no money, a dress code problem, and a little murder case, which in the balance holds the lives of 2 innocent kids. Not to mention your biological clock, my career, your life, our marriage, and let me see, what else can we pile on? Is there any more shit we could pile on to the top of the outcome of this case? Is it possible?
Maybe it was a bad time to bring it up.
Well, would you care to show those eyeglasses to the jury, please? Thank you. Thank you. Now, Mr. Tipton, were you wearing them that day?
No.
Well, you see, you were 50 feet away. You made a positive eyewitness identification, and yet you were not wearing your necessary prescription eyeglasses.
They're reading glasses.
Well, Mr. Could you tell the court what color eyes the defendants had?
Brown, hazel green.
No more questions.
That's
Mr.
the
Gambino,
other,
your witness.
Mr. Gambino.
He's a tough one.
Yes. Mr. Tipton, when you viewed the defendants walking from their car into the sack of suds, what angle was your point of view?
They was kind of walking toward me when they entered the store.
And when they left, what angle was your point of view?
They was kind of walking away from me.
So would you say you got a better shot of them going in and not so much coming out?
You could say that.
I did say that. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Is it possible the two youths,
The two what? What was that word?
what word?
Two what?
What?
Did you say utes?
Yeah, two youths.
What is a ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths.
All right. How's that for Wall Street on a late Friday night? The two Utes. The two Utes. Yeah, it's really nice weather. So the law of physics doesn't exist in your kitchen. That's the one. You're the, how's he say it? In the whole grit eating world, grit cooking world. Probably. Marisa Tomei is classic. She's a lovely woman. Pretty good actress too, I think. Hey, Billy Ray. My Utes. What's a grit? All right, so I'm going to sign out. I wish everyone the best. Let's just look quickly at the prices, see if anything's happening. Well, the greens are MMAT, RCRT, and finger from the ones I have up here. And even Logic's in the green. All right. So anyway, I'm going to sign out. I'm sorry for cutting out early. It is beautiful out. I'm going to walk Lucky and get to work on the things I need to do. And we'll talk over the weekend and certainly on Monday. Bye, DJT. What a dog. No. Needs a big rub of the snout. A big rub of the snout. Yeah, everybody have a good weekend. And we'll see you down the highway. So, as Mark says, peace, love, and happiness.